very good evening to you. I am Ryan Broom with the Friday, January 5th edition of the CBC Evening News. In our top story, the South Coast sewage problem is now creating even more challenges for the authorities. A senior official in the Ministry of Health has revealed to CBC News that a new issue has arisen as a result of the overflow of sewage onto some streets and other places. Ken Jerson has that story.
Acting Chief Medical Officer of Health, Dr. Kenneth George, tells CBC he wants people to be aware of this new health concern caused by the overflow of sewage in some areas on the South Coast.
I think it must be brought to the attention of the public that we are getting increasing cases of mosquito breeding in the South Coast, and the Ministry of Health has started their investigation again.
The concern here relates to mosquito-borne illnesses, including dengue and Zika. Dr. George says the ministry has already started to address this situation.
We have implemented fogging in the area on 2 days. So we fogged day before yesterday and we fogged yesterday. And we are also putting chemicals within the stagnant water to make sure that we retard the breeding of mosquitoes.
The senior official in the Ministry of Health also says this compounds the already identified health risks associated with the sewage overflow.
So the issues around the South Coast are not only related to the risk of gastroenteritis, but also because there is a potential for stagnant water to be around. We have to be ever vigilant of breeding of mosquitoes.
Dr. George wants anyone who notices stagnant water in the area or mosquito breeding sites to contact the Ministry of Health at 467-9300. Kent Jerson, CBC News.
Thanks, Kent. Well, meanwhile, the Acting Chief Medical Officer, Dr. Kenneth George, also says that tap water is safe for drinking in Barbados. It comes against the background of the sewage overflow on the South Coast, which has raised questions about possible contamination of the drinking water. Dr. George says the potable water is being tested weekly to ensure that it is safe.
That is a major part of our interventions. We test every Thursday, and today the water remains potable. Potable water is water that's free from bacteria, viruses, etc., and it's good to drink. In addition to that, we communicate with the Environmental Protection Division on a weekly basis with respect to testing of the water sources that people bathe in on the South Coast. And again, I would like to ensure the public that there's no evidence in front of the Ministry of Health that suggests that the water in any part of Barbados is contaminated.
Well, in other news, a discussion on whether taxi fares in Barbados should be regulated has surfaced again. It comes as the heads of the taxi associations in the port are reporting a bumper season, while their counterparts in the city complain that business is slow. Sharika Griffith has more.
Despite a fall-off in business due to cruise cancellations in the hurricane season, things are looking up for taxi operators in the Bridgetown port. President of the Independent Seaport Taxi Union, Anthony Eastman, says this winter season has been bountiful for taximen in the port.
September, October, we would have seen slight drop-off in cruise ship, and that simply because of Hurricane Irma and Maria. But since November came around and into December, it's actually been very good business. I would say more lucrative side of business for taxi operators who actually operate from inside the Bridgetown port.
So much so, says President of the Bridgetown Port Taxi Co-op Society, Charles Lane, the two associations have had to bring on an additional 25 taximen to meet the demands.
Because of the influx that come in, we had to put on the other members. And every day, someone in this port get work. Like yesterday, we actually nearly run out of taxis because we can see the work was turning over.
However, taximen in Bridgetown are telling a different tale. They say the increased numbers of tourists have not translated to increased business for them, a suggestion that Mr. Lane is disputing.
Sometimes people can't be satisfied, you know? They can't be satisfied with something. They always want more. So that's the problem. People that always want more and can't be satisfied with It's not a little bit. They're getting a fair amount of a fair share of the cake.
When questioned about the differences in pricing between taxi operators in the port and the city, Mr. Lane suggests that there should be greater regulation of prices across the board.
I know we have a regulated price down here, so we even sometimes when tourists come and bargain with us, we will drop the price a little bit. You understand? To get the work, but I don't know exactly what the guys uptown are charging. I will say that if they can charge the same rates we are charging, it will benefit them more.
Figures from the port's most recent survey of cruise passengers suggest that 30% use taxis while 10% choose to walk. Another 20% stay on the ship. Sharika Griffith, CBC News.
Thanks, Sharika. Well, some sad news now. A Christchurch family is mourning the death of one of its members, and police are appealing to the public to help them determine the identity of a man who drowned on Enterprise Beach early this morning. Lisa Broom visited both scenes and files this report.
The two men died around the same time, but about 3 miles apart. One discovered by a nephew in the bathroom of a house he shared with his mother, the other while taking his morning swim. In the case of the first man, 66-year-old Frank Thomas, police say he had some psychiatric issues. One family member who did not want to be identified described him to CBC as quiet and one who kept to himself. She said the family was accustomed to seeing Thomas by a particular time at their Pilgrim Place B home, but rather than coming out of his bedroom, his nephew found him in a bathroom dead. Family members gathered around Thomas's mother, who was said to be taking the death very hard. The body was eventually taken away by employees from Two Sons Funeral Home. In the meantime, police were seeking the public's assistance in identifying the other man who died this morning.
Sometime after 8, the body was observed floating face down in the water by a seabather who subsequently pulled the body to shore, unresponsive. At this time, we are making an appeal to the public for anyone who could assist us in identifying this man, who's about 5 feet 5 inches tall. He's of a dark complexion, slimly built. He's wearing a gray t-shirt and a blue and red pants with black slippers. He has a receding hairline with gray hair. Anyone who could assist us in identifying this man is being asked to contact the Oistins Police Station at 418-2612.
Witnesses tell CBC News the man was a regular at Miami Beach early on mornings. They say he was jogging along the beach and later went into the water before other sea bathers noticed him floating face down in the surf. CBC understands that a lifeguard performed mouth-to-mouth resuscitation, but to no avail. Lisa Broom, CBC News.
Thanks, Lisa. Well, we take a break here, but when we return, we hear how some Barbadians are making money like peas.
Simplify your life with the My Digicel app. In just a few clicks, you can manage your account, top up and send credit, pay your bill, activate a plan, chat with an agent, and catch our special offers. It's a snap to use the app. That's right, and we did it just for you. It's My Digicel.
Poets, fiction and non-fiction writers, the Central Bank of Barbados and the Frank Collymore Hall invite you to the 20th Annual Frank Collymore Literary Awards. 20 years of literary excellence, celebrating our winning writers. Saturday, January 6th at 6 p.m. Courtney Blackman Grand South, Tom Adams Financial Center. 20 years of literary excellence.
Of the Barbados Government Information Service to find out how the ministries and government departments can work for you. Sundays at 7:30.
Mondays and Thursdays at 8:30 p.m. on this station. Watch us in high definition on our YouTube channel, the BGI, and like our Facebook page.
The Barbados Government Information Service. We keep you informed.
On Monday, January 8th, an incredibly significant event constitutionally takes place in Barbados, the installation of our new Vice-Regent. As a constitutional monarchy, this illustrious individual performs the duties of head of state on behalf of Her Majesty the Queen. Join CBC TV8 this Monday at 3:20 as we bring live coverage of the installation of distinguished jurist Madam Justice Sandra Mason as she becomes Barbados' 8th Governor General.
Welcome back. Well, the picking of green peas is fast becoming a lucrative tradition for some. Aside from those who must have the staple in their homes at Christmas time, there are others cashing in on the popular legume. Kishmar St. Jees tells us about it.
These fields of peas are being transformed into greenbacks. Several micro businessmen and women are popping up, making some extra cash in the process. All that is needed, a keen eye and determination.
People are coming and picking and will store for sale at a later date. The peas are relatively easy to keep once you've got a refrigerator. You package them, you freeze them, and at the appropriate time you sell them. So a number of people who are unemployed or who want to get some alternative or additional income are picking peas.
The numbers in the field, however, are far less than seen in the lead up to Christmas.
You would have seen the harvesting of the peas at the maximum just before the Christmas period, when you saw dozens and, I dare say, hundreds of Barbadians picking peas for the cultural and traditional niceties of the season. I might add that those crowds were made up of regular Barbadians as well as vendors who rely on that for sales.
Constant Plantation in St. George, meanwhile, is boasting of having the best green peas in Barbados. Recent rainy weather conditions have added to the yield.
The fruiting process is influenced by the amount of rainfall and the length of the day in this peak. I think we were very fortunate to get them planted at the right time. So the favorable weather conditions influence the growth, influence the production, and so at the right time they were able to come into fruiting, which coincided with the picking or harvesting.
Kishmar St. Jees, CBC News.
Thanks, Kishmar. Well, in other news from that sector, despite an initial setback last year, the Ministry of Agriculture is moving to commence an Irish potato project this year. Confirmation of this from Chief Agriculture Officer Dr. Lennox Chandler. He says this is not the first attempt to grow white potatoes in Barbados.
We would have done it before, but the varieties that we would be using now obviously would be more amenable to our environmental conditions. So therefore we expect to have a fairly successful trial with the white potatoes here, and they're being planted here at Graham Hall. So I look forward to the outcome of that project.
In other news now, there's hope that the recent honoring of 2 trade unionists for their contributions to the labor movement will inspire other union leaders to continue to fight for workers' rights. Word of this from General Secretary of the Congress of Trade Unions and Staff Associations of Barbados, Dennis DePisa. His comments follow the announcement that C2SAB President Cedric Murrell and President General of the Barbados Workers Union, Linda Brooks, were named on the Queen's New Year's Honours List.
C2SAB is delighted that the announcement of the awards has come at a time when the trade union movement is being pressured in some quarters to maintain its relevance. To the credit of those honoured, they have accepted that national development and trade union unity are paramount to the furtherance of the work of the labour movement. It is therefore the hope of the Congress that the awards will serve as a stimulus in inspiring all labour leaders into continuing to strive towards providing creditable, honest, quality and responsible leadership so as to maintain the pride of the labour movement and to restore the confidence of workers and working class people in trade unions.
A mother of 3 is over the moon, or better put, she might be gushing with happiness after winning Sheraton Center's Christmas promotion, Joy to the Sea, Joy to You and Me. It's Deja Blackman's first time winning anything. And accompanied by her 3 daughters, she collected the top prize of a 7-day Caribbean cruise on board the Carnival Fascination.
I'm thankful for this chance to win something. I would love for everyone to go, but I'm so thankful.
Sheraton's marketing manager Danielle Singh explains that the promotion ran for the month of December and the response was overwhelming. She says they did the draw for the top prize and it was also done live on social media to ensure its authenticity.
This year we decided to go with our sea theme. Throughout the year we did some sea theme promotions. Our focus was based on our partnership with the Plastic Oceans Trust. That is to reduce the single-use plastics in Barbados. So our promotion was catered towards anything marine life. So our grand prize, the Cruise for 2, that was the main initiative behind it.
Congratulations. Well, still to come, a look at some of the stories making headlines across the region.
How does Omega XL reduce inflammation?
Omega XL is very effective at controlling pain associated with inflammation.
The studies show great results time and time again for people with joint pain.
If you walk around with pain, it's creating damage. Your blood vessels, your kidneys, possibly your brain.
Fight back. Get rid of pain and inflammation with Omega XL.
Get your Omega XL today. Live long, stay strong with Omega XL.
Community Files.
The National Council on Substance Abuse will host a lunchtime lecture entitled Managing Stress as part of the activities to mark Drug Awareness Month in January. The lecture takes place on Wednesday, January 10th in the NCSA's training room at 1st Avenue, Belleville and Pine Road, St. Michael at noon. Occupational therapists at the Psychiatric Hospital, Lennox Rochester, will be the featured speaker.
Welcome back. Well, top news from the region tonight. The Guyana Police Force is making it clear that no officer is above the law. This is being stressed as close attention continues to be paid to a case of alleged rape by 2 policemen. More in this Travis Chase report.
The mandatory 72 hours in which the police can legally keep suspects in custody has expired in the case involving the 2 police constables who are accused of rape of a woman who had gone to the station to make a report. But as Crime Chief Assistant Police Commissioner Paul Williams puts it, the officers will remain in lawful custody and could face a magistrate very soon.
Well, in the line of investigation, we are pursuing just like any other rape matter that would have made allegation that would have made against a member of the public. Police is not above the law, you understand me? So we're investigating that matter, and soon that file will go for advice, and the public will know the way forward.
Police Commander Calvin Brutus had told Nightly News Wednesday that investigators immediately took action upon receipt of the allegation leveled against the officers and have already started preparing a file. Even though it's just an allegation, Mr. Williams is basically saying that police will do their part and let the court do its work.
Well, just like any other body else, when they come and say that they're being raped is an allegation, so we have to investigate.
It is alleged that the woman had gone to the Turkine police station to file a complaint about an explosive allegedly thrown at her. She then asked to use the washroom, after which the ranks followed her and allegedly committed the act.
Were you told that the woman had been drunk when she visited the Turkine police station?
No, I'm not the receiver of that.
Were you told that she started stripping when she went to the police station?
No, I'm not the receiver of that.
Did the police ranks convey to you that the reported sex they had with the woman was on her consent?
No, I don't have that information.
Now over in St. Lucia, the Craft and Dry Good Vendors Association President Peter Isaac says he's been reliably informed that the Royal Caribbean Port Castries redevelopment project has not been shelved. and he's hopeful about the transformation of Port Castries into one of the leading cruise ship destinations in the southern Caribbean.
The deal was expected to see the realization of the St. Lucia Air and Seaports Authority and the government of St. Lucia's vision to transform the city of Castries into a bustling attraction for citizens and tourists alike. The November 2011 missive also stated that Royal Caribbean International will fund a part of the deal to an estimated cost of US $20 to $25 million, which will see the Southern Caribbean cruise capital Port Castries acquiring a makeover, the likes of which is expected to be on par with some major tourist ports in the world. Peter Rasaipa Isaac was part of a contingent who traveled to Jamaica in 2014 to observe a similar project in Jamaica. He says everything is still a go, despite appearing to have been at a standstill for the past few years.
Everything is still in the works. They have taken nothing off the table. Everything is still on the table. I spoke to the Prime Minister some time ago and he said everything is still on the table in terms of RCI. It's just the question of financing. That's the problem I've been hearing over the years.
But was it supposed to be a PPP or they finance that project? RCI finance that project?
RCI is the people responsible for the project, but they always getting people to finance the project. Now they had some time ago, there were some persons who were supposed to finance the project, but the former Prime Minister ejected these people. They said he didn't really want to deal with them because they had wranglings or they had run-ins with asphalt and mining. And they tried to get someone who has a connection with Mexico, Panama, but again, that didn't work. He fell into some financial difficulties and so on and so forth. So today, where we are is just where we were before.
The Port Castries redevelopment project would include the current location of the Vendors Arcade and the now demolished old fire service headquarters and central police station. A more aesthetically pleasing waterfront, including upgrades to the arcade, are expected to lure more cruise visitors.
Well, a fight back by the Barbados Pride and a full sports news package just ahead with Sean Green. But first, here's a tip from Cooperators General Insurance.
This tip of the day is brought to you by Cooperators General Insurance Company Limited. Insurance the way you want it to be.
If you find that you have a burglary, call the police at 211. Do not enter the premises and do not allow anyone to enter the premises until the police arrive. This crime prevention tip is brought to you in association with the Royal Barbados Police Force.